Hello everyone, this is Sajid Latif Khan and you are watching my channel Learning for All. And today I am going to talk about a very important topic that is related to reading comprehension. There are different tactics and strategies to teach reading comprehension to students in your classes. It is very important for the English teacher to understand that what are those methods which can be very handy and very useful for students to teach them reading comprehension. In this video, I will be talking about synthetic method of teaching reading. Once a child overcomes the difficulties of reading, the gates of knowledge and informations are open to him. He can read for his professional knowledge, intellectual and cultural advancement, and for the purpose of recreation. So, the teacher should adopt such methods to teach reading so as to bring quickness, love, pleasure and interest to the child. There are two kinds of method to teach reading. Number one, synthetic method, in which the teacher proceeds from sounds or letters to words and to sentences. And number two, analytic method. In this method, a teacher proceeds with sentences to words and then to letters and sounds. In synthetic method, we have the alphabetic method, the phonic method, and the phonetic method. This is the oldest method of teaching reading. In this method, the children are asked to recognize and memorize the letters of English alphabet. Then they are asked to form syllables of words by combining the letters. At the third stage, they are required to make sentences by combining the words. Let's see what are the advantages of this method. It is the oldest and the well-known method, therefore it does not require originality and hard labor on the part of teacher. It is very effective in recognizing and memorizing letters, which is essential to continue systematic language training. It emphasizes the teaching of spellings and reading simultaneously. Let's talk about the drawbacks of synthetic method. It is a dull, monotonous and dry method and kills the enthusiasm of the children for the reading of new language. It is an unnatural and unpsychological method of teaching because it proceeds from unknown to known. The children have first to learn letters and then they have to form words and thereafter sentences. In this method, reading is learned through spellings, whereas it is reading which helps in learning spellings, thus it suggests an unnatural process of learning. Combination of reading and spelling causes distraction and lack of interest in the children. It advocates to learn a word by the combination of the sounds of the letters. For example, the word rat pronounced by combining the sound of the letter R, A and T, but the method fails in the word like often, match, enough. Moreover, some letters give more than one sound, for example, C in car and cement. Both have different sounds. There are only 26 letters which convey 44 sounds. So some combinations have been made to convey other sounds like th, cha and ga, but sometimes they also convey different sounds like sha in machine. It makes the letter as the unit of the study. It is unnatural because the whole word is recognized before the letters. Let's talk about the phonic method. Instead of teaching the names of letters, the students are first taught the sounds of vowels and consonants. They are told that consonants have generally one sound with a few exceptions like C, G, S and Y, which have more sounds. Then the teacher tells the children that all the vowels have two sounds, a short sound and a long sound. Small words are taken first, then the larger ones are taught. Words of similar sounds are taught before the words of irregular spellings. Let's talk about some advantages of this method. As the emphasis is laid on the sound of the letters, it aims at better pronunciation. It sharpens the auditory and visual recognition of the child. Let's discuss the drawbacks of this method. The parts of the words are considered before the whole words. This causes delay in attaining the ability to read words as a whole. It also neglects the importance of taking a word as a unit. Some letters have more than one sound. It causes confusion in the mind of the students. The words with mute letters also created confusion because the sound is not included in their pronunciation. For example, listen, knowledge, sign, that, and often. There are some words which have got the same sound but different spellings, like ascent and scent, sight and sight, see and see. Only the well-trained teachers can use this method. Much of the time of the reader is wasted in learning sounds and the meaning of the words are neglected. Vowels have two sounds, short and long. So clear conception of the pronunciation is not formed. Now let's talk about phonetic method. This method is the logical consequence of phonic method. It employs a different alphabet called the phonetic. It removes the difficulties in learning of the consonants having two sounds or vowels having short and long sounds. Only one sound is represented by its each symbol. It has simplified the use of combination like GH, CH and SH by having a definite symbol of each of these sounds. The rule implied here is the same as that implied in phonic method. That is, the letters are to be ignored and their sounds are to be taught. This method gives correct pronunciation to the students. Let's talk about some drawbacks of this method. The confusion regarding the irregularity of the sounds and spellings are not permanently removed. The difficulty arises when the child starts learning words written in an ordinary character of the alphabet. It burdens the young learner's mind with two sets of alphabet. The learning of so many symbols and minute distinction between their sounds make this method more complicated. This method also requires trained teachers, which are hardly to found in every school. Let's talk about analytical or look and say method of teaching English. The analytical methods suggest that the teaching should be proceeded from sentences to words, letters, and sounds. We have further three subcategories of analytic method. First, the word method, the phrase method, and the sentence method. Let's talk about the word method. Some linguists believe that a single word is meaningful for a child. When a child hears a word, he makes association with the object for which it is used. Isolated letters are meaningless to him. In this method, flashcards are used. Flashcards has a printed picture along with its name printed on it. On the back side of the picture, only the name of the picture is printed. The teacher takes a flashcard, presents it to the class, and pronounces the name of the picture as written on it. He gives collective and individual drill to them. He teaches 5 or 6 words in the same manner. Then he shows the back side of the flashcard and asks the children to pronounce the word written on it. If the children are able to read the word without the help of a picture, it means that they have formed complete association with the meaning of the word. The most common nouns are taken first, then the action words are dealt with, the uncommon or difficult words are taught afterwards. Let's talk about some advantages of this method. It is the quickest and the easiest method of teaching reading. The process of teaching by this method is not dull because it does not aim at teaching meaningless letters first. The unit of recognition is a word and the sound of a word is associated with the word itself. Pictures keep the children absorbed in them. Thus, the process of teaching becomes full of life and interesting. Let's talk about some demerits of this method. Spellings cannot be learned by this method because the letters are not taught before they are used. All the words cannot be taught with the help of pictures. Some important words like a, an, the, this, that, and so on cannot be taught by this method. The method does not create the ability of reading new words because the children cannot recognize the individual letters. Let's talk about the phrase method. According to the Palmer and some other linguists, it is not a word but a group of words, which corresponds to the eye span, and therefore a phrase should be used as a unit of recognition. Like word method, this can also be done with the help of the flashcards. The advantages and disadvantages of this method are also the same as those of word method. The sentence method. In this method, the complete sentence is taken as a unit of language. It aims at presenting a thought unit to the child. The advocates of this method argue that it is the sentence and not a word or phrase which conveys a complete meaning, and therefore complete sentences should be presented as the unit of language to the child. Let's talk about the advantages of this method. This method has the same advantages as that of a word method or phrase method. In addition, the chief advantage of this method is that it makes the first experience in reading meaningful and interesting to the child. Thus, it may be called a natural method of language learning. The child takes a good start and gains fluency in reading. And now let's talk about the disadvantages. They are also the same as those of word method or phrase method. In addition, the chief disadvantage of this method is that the students do not acquire proper ability in word recognition. That is it for now. I hope you like my video. If you like it, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and turn on the bell icon so that you can have more and more upcoming latest videos of mine. Thank you so much.